I think we're live.
Fantastic.
Just move your chair. It's like so just a little bit delayed. But I guess the delay is a good thing, but
It is. It is.
yeah,
Hypothetically, there could be some interceptions.
that's true. Am I gonna be able to see every multi-stream? There we go. That's what I want. Stream chat read only. All right, we got no viewers. That's what I'm talking about. That's the numbers we like. This set looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. You look like an even mix between an academic and a real human.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to Instagram.
Has a student ever brought you an apple?
No, but my campers love bring me bananas.
Ah, yes.
No,
The banana lore.
the banana lore. Are people being productive or something? Why aren't they in my chat?
Mm, They, they might all be out, enjoying delicious tacos or something.
Mm-hmm. See, the problem is gaming content. It's like it's easy enough, but I assume with if it's just like chatting, you know,
Why
Ben
don't you
Braver's
chat
live.
with me, Ben?
I am chatting with you.
So true.
Shucky Ducky joined Ben Braver's stream. So, what do you care about when it comes to your politics?
Oh gosh, you're asking me about my politics. On a local level, I assume? Okay. On a local level, one thing that I will say that is terrifying is the spike in housing price
Oh my god, it's
and
so bad.
the lack of affordability.
Yes.
So, coming from my perspective, I see a lot of people essentially living in very limited space. You see people who, for lack of a better word, are living multiple people, in some cases, to a room. A lot
Yes.
of times you see basically what winds up being slums because landlords know that housing is in such demand that they don't feel the need to fix or improve, make necessary home improvements.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that put together, from my perspective, I think has just created a very unfortunate scenario, especially for working class and young people.
Yeah, I know it's a super big problem. Now, if there are any young people in this chat, they'd be able to hear the fact that we can fix that. We can make sure that every single person, not only in this state but really in this country, can afford a place to live. Right? What America is about is having the ability to access whatever you need. Right? We have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, that doesn't mean that we all get happiness, but it means that we are able to pursue it. And what we've seen is that over these past few decades, fewer and fewer people, are able to pursue happiness. All right, we got some chatters now. Hello, nice to see y'all. Tell me what y'all care about, what you want to see us talk about. Um, Now, Frank, another thing that we have to care about is insurance prices. Not only is it hard to get a home, but it's hard to keep a home. And wages. I mean, it is ridiculous. You simply cannot live in Florida on one salary.
Absolutely. Right? So
There's no way.
No, to go into that, I had a friend recently who saw he had to change his homeowner's insurance. He saw a 30% increase in premium.
That's ridiculous. And across the state of Florida, home insurance prices have gone up by 45%. Hey, sister. Hey, Sophia. My sister is in the chat, y'all. So be nice. Home insurance prices have gone up 45%. Inflation. Now, if anybody in chat wants to say, why would prices go up? For what reason would insurance prices go up? We're going to have to wait for it to go. There's a problem with the delay because then I can ask a question, but I won't be able to get an answer yet. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you don't know already, is because inflation would go up, right? Or there are more natural disasters. Now, we have been seeing more natural disasters because climate change, which you're not allowed to talk about anymore. In Florida, DeSantis struck that from the state laws. You can't mention climate change, but that causes more natural disasters, which means insurance needs to pay out more to fix more of our roads and our homes. But the other reason will be inflation. The thing is, inflation has only gone up 8% over the past year, but our insurance prices have gone up 45%. That means that these companies are just stealing from us, and they're being run terribly, so they become insolvent. In fact, 10 different insurance companies have, thank you, Maggie, 10 different insurance companies have been erased over the past 5 years because they just aren't being run properly. They're investing all of their money in stock market, so they can't pull it out when we need to spend it on what it's for, what we saved it for.
That's really fascinating. So, could you think of any form of investment that insurance companies could make that would potentially be less risky than the stock market, but at the same time have a high enough rate of growth to pay out for insurance?
That's an incredible question, Frank. What Frank just asked, my campaign manager, Frank, is there a way for us to invest smartly, to invest better? Is there a way for us to invest more smartly so that our investment can grow and be safe? And small business loans are a great way to do that. Not only insurance companies can not just be for rebuilding the community, but for building up the community. When we have more small businesses, we have a stronger community. Now, these are also fairly high interest rate loans, which means we'll have enough capital to pay off the damages that we to fix our infrastructure that we need to. If we have these high yielding, high interest rate loans that we can give out to small businesses that then have more capital to start their businesses. There are ways that our government can work together, can work as an ecosystem to make the entire thing prosper, rather than what it's been doing, which is segmenting our society into these little boxes that don't coexist with each other. Now, that's another whole problem with DeSantis' campaign against diversity. Diversity is what makes an ecosystem strong. Take it from a life science teacher. I literally teach life science to 7th graders. A strong ecosystem is made up by a lot of diversity. It's called biodiversity. When we have that in an economy, take it from an econ major, when we have a lot of diversity in our economy, we have a stronger economy because things can feed off each other and work together. Now, if other people want to talk, ask questions besides just campaign manager Frank, that'd be incredible. Now, we do love campaign manager Frank.
You love campaign manager Frank?
Everybody.
What is wrong with you?
That's great, showing our constituents that our campaign manager hates the candidate.
No. It's that the candidate and everybody else should probably hate the campaign manager.
Yeah. Okay. What do y'all want to talk about? However many of you are in the chat, because this streaming service doesn't actually tell me the number. I see 2 on Instagram. That's nice.
I think you have exactly 420 people in live stream chat.
That'd be awesome. How 420 people? Hey, wait a minute.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, we're going to have to take this down from YouTube. What are you running for again? When do I vote for you? That's an incredible question. I'm running for State Senate of District 23, and you can vote for me on November 5th. Now, luckily, I'm not being primaried, because who would want to primary us? So we don't have to vote in the primary, but you should be voting on the primary, which I'm pretty sure August 26th, for county commissioners and for not district attorneys, public defenders. That's an important thing to vote for in the primary. But November 5th, the general election, when you're going to be voting for president and U.S. Senate, it's also when you vote for me for District 23 of State Senate. Now, if you need to know where District 23 is, I can actually show you. Let's do this. We're going to scene transition. Wow, look at that. The wonders of technology. Senate District 23. Actually, wait a second. Boom, that's Senate District 23. Right there. It goes from Brandon all the way over to Plant City, all the way up to Dade City and Zephyr Hills. Now, you'll notice it's an incredibly ugly map, and the reason for that is I was having a hard time finding the Senate map, so I went on Canva and I took a screenshot of Google Maps and I put a layover of the two other areas on top of it.
I personally think it looks fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that, Campaign Manager Frank. Campaign Manager Frank is here for moral support as well as um, campaign support.
There's also physical support. Your chair foot has been on my foot for like the last 5 minutes.
Has it?
No, I lied.
Okay. He wrote gullible on the floor. If somebody wants to know about the set, this was built by my great grandfather, who was a carpenter of sorts. This is a bust of, I'm not even sure who.
It's a bust of campaign manager.
Is a bust of campaign manager Frank, exactly. You see, we need some more questions about politics here. What do y'all care about? What do you want to see change in your state? We have some great books back here. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning puck on an altar, which is where it should be. That and being played in the finals. Let's see, what else?
What's your opinion on making sure that Tampa and the Tampa Bay area generally has the necessary public infrastructure to continue growing?
Oh, that is a great question. Our state has been underfunding all of the critical infrastructure that we need. And when we don't have the resources necessary to... Oh, Lauren, that's sweet. Thank you so much. And yeah, honestly, people shouldn't need to be so invested in politics. It's kind of ridiculous that it is such a big part of so many people's life. Really, politics doesn't need to be so deeply understood by so many people. It should be only needs to be understood by politicians and those who care. Unfortunately, because of how terrible our legislator has been, how much they've been critically underfunding our necessary infrastructure, people have had to take a more active role in politics. Now that's good. I'm all for community engagement. And one thing that we've seen is that our generation is incredibly engaged. In fact, we vote at higher rates than any other generation in history. But to answer your question about the infrastructure, we need to be supporting public transportation. I mean, I spend 2 hours in traffic every single day, and it's ridiculous. And the reason is because we don't have a safe, reliable alternative. The way you get more cars off the road is by providing people with an alternative. And I gotta say, I-4 is the worst highway in America. It has been on several lists dictating that. And if we had a train from Tampa to Orlando that functioned, that was safe and reliable, so many people use it every day. It would add to the economies of both those cities. If you were flying into Orlando to go to Disney, let's say, then you could go catch a train over to Tampa, where you couldn't if you need to rent a car for that. If you're in Tampa, you can just go head over to Orlando. And on the way, you can stop by Plant City and Bealsville and boost their local economies. Public transportation helps everybody. It also means that we're spending less money on gas. It means we're spending less money on oil and on our cars, so we can spend more money actually saving or buying other things. Unfortunately, because we don't have these public goods that we need, so many of us have to spend all of our income, and we can't accumulate any wealth because we're spending all of our income on stuff that should be provided to us, like public transportation, like schools. I mean, they're trying to privatize the entire school industry, which was an explicitly racist policy that was started after Brown v. Board of Education was decided. The privatization of our schools will actually cost the state $4 billion, $3 billion of which will come directly out of the hands of impoverished people. And it'll go directly to their people who can already afford a private education. There's also no regulation stipulating that any private school that gets these funds can't raise their rates by the exact amount of funds they're getting. Every student in Florida gets $8,000. Disney should help fund public transportation, Lauren, because it means that more people will come to their parks. Actually, they do fund their own version of public transportation from the airport to the park, because even they understand that it's important. And imagine going around Disney and you didn't have a tram to take you places, or that people mover. You wouldn't want to because these places aren't walkable. Our cities and our towns should be designed for us, not for cars. Um,
I have a question, Mr. Ben.
Shoot.
Well, I really like what you're saying, and I do want to get involved. I'd like to volunteer and potentially contribute.
Sorry, Nikki.
Where would I go to take care of that?
Well, that's a great question, campaign manager Frank. If you want to volunteer, if you want to contribute to the campaign, you can go to benbraver.org. Really easy to remember because it's my name and .org. I'm not sure why the live stream's pausing. Weird. But anyway, we have a ton of volunteer opportunities. We have events coming up right around the corner. And you can reach out to me. My email's on there, ben@benbraver.org. I always want to know what y'all need. Or you have my Instagram. You can DM me right there.
I have another question for you, Mr.
Another
Ben.
question. How lucky
Another
are
one.
we?
I know. You truly blessed.
You can come into frame when you're asking a
All right.
question.
That's awesome. So, presumably, as you're elected, I don't know if you know this or not, but Florida has a majority Republican legislature.
We have a super majority Republican
A
legislature.
super majority. And just for a chat, could you break down super majority is 66% and above? Or 60%? Something along
I'm
those
not
lines.
entirely. I think it's 75% actually.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So, obviously,
It means a veto-proof majority.
if you were elected, tell us how you would work with independents and Republicans to promote good policy.
See, that's a great question. How do we work with each other? Now, as y'all know, I have very strong beliefs and I hold those beliefs and I care about those beliefs very deeply. However, this job to be elected is to work with other people. It is to engage with them and to try to make the best state for our citizens. What we have to do is understand that people are coming at this from different perspectives. Yes, even though I might not agree with their views, a lot of them hold their views genuinely. Now, a big problem is that a lot of people don't hold their views genuinely and that they just get them from their lobbyists. We were talking with Muslims for Democracy and Fairness today, and they were impressing on me. Thanks, Fernando. Ferdinand. Fernando, we'll do that. Thanks, Ferdinand. And they were impressing on me that when you get up there, there will be so many people offering me what are essentially bribes, because the lobbying system is just legalized bribery in this state, or in this country. And they'll be telling you to vote one way, which is against the interests of the people. And that's ridiculous. Too many of our legislators don't care about the interests of the people. They just care about the interest of their wallet. Now, to work with them, what you have to say is, look, you're not going to get elected unless the people vote for you. And the people don't want to vote for politicians we know are untrustworthy and are hurting us. When they consistently deregulate the insurance market, allowing them to artificially raise their prices on us, when they consistently limit the amount of affordable homes and rental units that can be built, they're hurting the people of their state. They're not letting them save money. They're not letting them earn higher incomes, and they're hurting us. Now, it sucks, but I have to assume that they care about the people. And I have to assume that they want to help everybody, and that's what I go into every conversation with, assuming they want what's best for the people. And if they don't, you have to make sure that you work around them, because the job is always about helping people. Right?
That sounds fantastic.
Also, messaging in a way that isn't automatically triggering to them. Unfortunately, look, I'm a Democrat, but I think they do a lot of stupid things. And one of the stupidest things they do is use such inflammatory rhetoric. I mean, we all know how annoying it is when you get a barrage of messages and information saying you have to hate everybody and they want to kill you and they want to take all your rights away. And while they do a lot of really bad things, people who are just Republican, who just care about a small government, don't hate us, right? People who want a large government don't hate them. And we're inundated with the mainstream media and social media with this constant messaging telling us to hate each other. And it's ridiculous. Even my opponent, while he does some of the worst bills possible, he's a nice guy. He just hurts the people of the state. You are so right, Ferdinand, that people are powerful. And we see every single time that organized people beat organized money. And the amount that money has a stranglehold on our election system is ridiculous. There are like 20 campaign managers who've told me to spend 8 to 10 hours a day just cold calling people asking for cash. That's ridiculous. A candidate's job should not just be asking for money, it should be listening to and understanding the needs of the people. But because bribery is just legalized, they don't care.
So, just for clarity, you're saying that people can support you even if they're independent or Green Party or Libertarian or even Republican, and you're going to come to them with solutions instead of just begging lobbyists for money?
Wow. Wouldn't that be incredible? And yeah, I mean, I want all the voters I can get, obviously, and I want to help all the people I can. That's why I'm running for this position. And if you just go in there trying to help your own party, is this broadcasting live from your private call center? Yes, this is my room, my private call center. But you can call in if you want to. But what we're talking about? Yeah, you can't get into it only wanting to help Democrats because first of all, you can't help anybody if you only want to do that, and everybody has the same interest. Everybody's rent is rising. Everybody's home insurance is rising. Everybody's wages are going down. Everybody can feel that they're able to purchase less. Also, our generation, because everybody here is Gen Z, our generation is the second generation. Millennials were the first, the second generation in American history to be more likely to be worse off than our parents are. It is ridiculous. The entire system of government that we have had has been working to accumulate wealth in the top. Actually, let me show y'all a graph. This is my favorite graph that I have. Live scene, cool. Boom, we're gonna go down here. This is made by a couple economists from Stanford, and this shows wealth inequality in America. Where is the... Okay, cool. So, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to take all these off. Total real wealth. Cool. All right, so if we take the bottom 50%, then on average, no wait, we want average real wealth, not total. Then on average, any person in the bottom half of America has about $9.4 thousand on average. That means that there are a lot of people with much less than that, and a lot of people with much more than that. Oh no, the Instagram isn't showing. Oh no, it shows it well enough. All right. Now, if we take in the next 40%, the middle 40%, look how much more money even just the next 40% of people have. There is no middle class anymore, right? The middle 40% have about $400,000 on average, while the bottom 50 only have 10% on average. That gap is ridiculous. Now, if we put in the top 10% next, boom. Look, even that huge gap seems minuscule in comparison. And now here, let's take the top 0.01%, the 25,000 Americans with the most money in this country. You can't even see the differences between the bottom 50% and the top 10% anymore. They have, the top 25,000 people in this country have on average $580 million to the name, while the bottom half of all Americans only have $10,000 to their name. Now, here's the most ridiculous thing. There are 6 people in this country with more money, $88 billion more, than the entire bottom half of the country combined. That's crazy. That is ridiculous. We should not allow that in this country. That is the kind of generational wealth that creates royalty. That's what America was founded on. Not allowing people to control our markets like that. But when we have 6 people owning more money than the bottom half of the entire country combined, there's no way to take our market back except through government regulation, which we need.
That's
Yes.
fascinating. So, could you tell us a little bit about your own personal journey to this point? Your personal journey of getting to the point where you saw so much failure and dysfunction within government that you felt compulsed to seek public office.
Well, look, I mean, it is blatant. The amount of dysfunction we have in this country, the arbitrary inequality. I mean, we don't need six people owning more money than the bottom half of the entire country combined. Now, I was lucky enough to grow up with two parents who worked hard for what they got, a professor and a doctor. They worked really hard, they went to school, they lived out the American dream. And they made sure to always impress upon me that I was lucky to be born into a family with wealth. I was lucky to have that. And there are so many people in this country that don't have that, that are in the worst poverty imaginable, that are starving to death on our streets, that can't afford a home. And in what should be the greatest country on earth, in the greatest state in that country, in what we've always been told is a place that you can grow, you can achieve anything if you just try. Well, we can do that. Like, we can institute that system again. The reason that we were able to do that is because back in the 30s we established the New Deal. We established government programs that invest in people, that invest in our critical infrastructure. Then, after the 80s and through now, we stopped investing in ourselves. We stopped investing in our infrastructure and we let money accumulate at the top. So our entire economy didn't have enough funds to prosper. Ziki, add you to the live. I don't know how to do that. Sorry, Ziki. But you're in the live in our hearts.
Hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds. Thoughts and prayers. Now, when all the money's accumulated in such a small area, when it's not actually being spread throughout the economy, that means the economy doesn't function. It means that it dries up, right? And there are people just sitting on huge sums of money rather than just accumulating more of our money rather than letting us use it, rather than letting us spend it. That's why people see their purchasing power decrease. Inflation, one of the main drivers of the decrease in purchasing power, is caused because we have the highest corporate profits in 40 years. These corporations aren't making goods more efficiently. They're not making more goods. They're just charging us more for them because they realize after the pandemic that we'll pay for it. They're keeping us at subsistence wages, only able to purchase what we need to survive, and a lot of times not even that. But whenever you have a profit, it's because you're charging more for a good than it costs you to produce it, right? And when you have larger profits, it means that you're charging even more for the good than it costs you to produce it, which means you're just charging us arbitrarily more. Profits aren't a bad thing, but when you're just stealing money from people because we have to pay for gas because we have no alternative, because we have to pay for food because we don't have enough land to grow it ourselves, it destroys the entire economy. Our viewers, what are y'all thinking? What do you want to hear about? What's going through your minds? I'm just going to keep on talking because I don't want there to be, moments of silence. Because
Understandable. While we're waiting for chat to ask an introspective question, I have another one for you.
Another question?
Another
Wow.
question. Could you talk to us a little bit about, because I had a teacher, her name was Miss Smith, and she was fantastic, yes. And unfortunately, she left the state recently. She was my high school teacher, but our school system lost her and she went to another state to teach. Could you give us a little bit of idea about why she might have done that and how can we prevent that in the future?
Well, that's an insightful question. And one reason that she might have done that is because Florida has the 50th worst teacher pay in the country. I mean, again, we live in the greatest state in the greatest country in the world. We should be able to give our students an exemplary education. And we are able to if our government would simply fund it. Now, as I said before, the privatization that they're instituting will cost $4 billion. Giving every single teacher just average pay for the country would only cost us $2 billion. It is something that we need to do because we have 5,000 vacancies across the state. There are 5,000 classrooms that just don't have a teacher. We need to get a hold of that because that means that our kids aren't getting the resources they need. Also, on that privatization, when a private school can take a child, take the money that comes along with them, then expel the child for whatever reason they see fit, and then keep the money, sending that child back to the public school system without the funds necessary to follow them. That means that my school has to take that child back, educate them without any more resources. It means everybody in the school has more stress and gets a worse education. Um, Another thing, our schools are falling apart. The money that they get to fund themselves is wait. I think I'm the only one here actually, because yes, I'm the only person here.
On this platform.
No, there's one viewer total.